The value of being able to lift and lower yourself from the ground cannot be overstated. What might seem like a really seemingly small thing actually plays a huge role in our physical health, our emotional well-being, and our overall mobility. Hi everyone, my name is Paris Latka and I am a movement and posture coach, a certified bowspring instructor, a myofascial release body worker, and a nutrition therapist. And it's my greatest passion to help people feeling fantastic in their bodies, clear in their minds, and freedom in their movement. Today, I am so excited to guide you through a simple but very powerful tutorial on how to safely lift and lower yourself from the ground using the bowspring alignment. I'll be sharing 3 different techniques to really support you mastering this essential skill. And these options are tailored to support and meet you where it is that you currently are. The first option that I'll be walking you through is using a chair or a coffee table for added support. The second is a squat variation, and the third is a forward bend approach. Before we dive into the how-to, let's just briefly talk about why it is that this movement is so critical, especially as we age. The first is maintaining joint mobility. So as children, we are naturally getting up and down from the ground. We're falling with an ease, and maybe there's a sense of bounce to lifting and lowering ourselves from the ground and fluidity to these movements. But as we age, if we stop practicing this, then our range of motion declines. Just like muscles weaken without use, the same is true for mobility. If you don't practice this, you lose your ability to lift and lower yourself from the ground. If you don't use it, you lose it. So regular practice, it keeps your joints healthy. It increases your overall movement options for your life. The second is fall prevention. So falls are a pretty serious concern for everyone, but especially for the folks who are getting older. And falls can often lead to broken bones, and if somebody falls, then there can be a really long recovery. But instead of living in fear of falling, I really want to equip and empower you with this tool so that you can move with more confidence and more balance and more agility to reduce your risk of falling. Number 3, longevity and vitality. So did you know that your ability to lift and lower yourself from the ground was actually linked to mortality? Research shows that adults who can do this with ease tend to live longer. There was a study that followed over 2,000 adults aged from 51 to 81 and found that those who struggled to get up and down from the floor had higher mortality rates. And so this movement, it reflects overall strength, mobility, but also independence. So I encourage all of my clients to be practicing getting themselves up and down from the floor at least once a day, but try and get 3 times a day in, because the benefits are just so countless. So now it's your turn. So can you get up and down from the floor with ease and no pain? And if so, amazing, definitely keep it up. You've got to keep practicing it. And if not, no worries. I'm here to walk you through step by step how to lift and lower yourselves from the ground so you can really master this skill in your everyday life. Go ahead and grab a chair or stand next to a coffee table for our first tutorial, and I'll see you there. Okay, here we are at our chair or coffee table. And if you need to grab a small blanket or padding for your knees, because I will be guiding you to the ground on your knees very momentarily, and then coaching you to get up from the ground, and we will be using the knees. So if you need to pad them, by all means, please do. Let's get to it. Come to face your chair, the seat of your chair, and step your body arms width distance from the chair. Step your feet shoulder width distance. Lower your hands to the chair by bending into your knees and rooting the hips back, letting them go back as you walk one hand to the seat of the chair and the other, and step your hands as wide as possible on the seat of the chair. What I don't want you to do is lower your hands to the chair with dropping your butt and bending at your lower back, rounding at your lower back and being here. This is unhealthy, and this will create pain and not support your mobility and movement goals. So once again, bend into your knees, bloom the hips back, take the hands to the width of the chair, and here we are. Hover your heels very subtly from the ground, so not super high heel, but a very low heel, and twist your feet and your knees a little bit to the left. Bend into your knees. This is where we're gonna lower, but I want you to resist your hips up, and then you're gonna bend into your elbows to lower very slowly, but the hips are not dropping like I'm doing here. They're going up as you bend your knees. Slowly bending your arms so that your right knee lowers very slowly and mindfully to the ground, and then your left knee can lower slowly and mindfully to the ground. This is where you would cushion your knees if you need that extra padding. Okay, coming up, I'm gonna shift the weight to the chair, and your hands are on the seat of the chair, and you butterfly open your left foot and knee. Once again, lean yourself in to push your arms into, bloom your butt back, and then butterfly open your right leg. Slowly walk your hands to your thighs and lift. Give yourself a high five because you just did it. We're gonna do it one more time doing the opposite side so we can really practice this. Step your body arms width distance from your chair. Step your feet shoulder width distance. Lower your hands to the seat of the chair by bending your knees forward and then rooting the hips back behind you and lowering the hands to the seat of the chair. Then we'll twist the knees and the feet to the right. Bend your knees, and when you bend, don't let your butt just drop. Keep extending your hips back and up behind you as you then bend into your elbows, but use the hands on the seat of the chair to help you lower slowly, like you're lowering with the brakes on. You know what I mean? Then the left knee lowers and the right knee lowers, and here we are. Learning how to lift, you're gonna guide your body towards the chair and come into a standing kneeling pose. The hands are at the seat of the chair. Can butterfly open your right foot and your right knee. Lean in and push into the seat of the chair, booty on the rise, and the left knee and the foot open, and here we are. Walk the hands to the thighs and slowly rise. Okay, give yourself a little pat on the back. Please continue to do this one again and again and again until you get that muscle memory, until you feel confident to move to the next technique that I'll be sharing with you, lowering yourself to the ground through a forward bend. And yeah, please stay with this exercise. If it felt challenging for you and you felt like you can grow this one, then just keep doing this until you're ready for the next one. If that didn't feel challenging for you, then I'm excited to share this next technique with you. Okay, for the forward bend approach, if you'd like to grab a yoga mat, by all means, that is an option, and you certainly don't need one. But first start by stepping the knees shoulder width distance. Just like we were lowering ourselves to the seat of the chair, we're gonna do that in the same way. Bend at your knees and at your hips. The knees go forward and the butt goes back. Then consequentially, the belly stays long as you lower your hands to your top thighs. Now, keep bending into your knees, but blooming the butt back. Don't let it drop down, okay? The butt keeps going back, and shift the weight out of your heels so you're a little bit lighter through the paws of the feet. Bend your knees forward, bloom the butt back as you lower one hand to the ground, followed by the other. Walk your hands forward, and then you'll shift into your right leg and foot, lift your left and lower the top of your left foot, and then bloom the butt up, so you're not just dropping it, the knee down, you're blooming up as you lower the left knee, shift left, lower your right foot, your right knee, and here you are in this all fours on the ground, okay? You can do whatever it is that you wanna do while you're on the ground, but to get up, we're going to curl the toes under, push into the ground with your hands to fill your ribs, open the collarbones with your butt untucked. So we're not moving with the tailbone under us. We're moving with the sitting bones wide. Curl the toes under, push your feet into the ground to lift your knees. Booty high, step wide with the feet, as wide as your shoulders or a tiny bit wider. Keep bending into your knees and walk your hands back, lifting your hands to your thighs. Push into your thighs to lift the ribs, and here we are at a standing position. All right, give yourself another high five. Okay, I'm gonna walk you through that one more time so we can really practice it, and with practice comes progress. Step the feet a little bit wider than your shoulders, pointing the toes forward. Take your horseshoe hands to the thighs, so it's gonna be this kind of hand position at your thighs, okay? And bend into your knees, bloom the butt back. Keep bending into your knees, you're light through the heels, and you're moving the hips back and up as you slowly walk one hand to the ground, followed by the other, stepping your hands forward, keeping the hips rooted back. You'll arrive with your wrists just slightly in front of your shoulders. Step your feet hip-width distance apart. Shift into your left foot and lower the top of your right foot and your right knee. Shift right, lower the top of your left foot and your left knee. Here we are on the ground. Good job. Coming up, curl the toes under. Push into the ground with your feet, rise the hips. The hips go so high, step the feet wide, walk the hands halfway back, lift the hands to the thighs, push your arms into the thighs to help lift the ribs. And here we are in this standing position once again. How did that feel? Let me know. Okay, for this third option, I'm going to be coaching you to lower yourself from the ground. This is going to be the most advanced through a squat. So once again, if you want to grab a yoga mat, you can, but no need. This foot position is about hip width distance, and we're going to turn the paws, the tops of the feet out, and the heels come in towards the body, and bend into your knees a couple of inches and bloom the butt back. Then we'll take a low globe hand position with all of the fingertips touching except the pinkies. The idea in the bowspring is we want to fill the ribs and let them move in an upward and forward direction while rooting the hips in the opposite direction of the ribs. So as the ribs go up, the hips go back. You'll understand what I mean by that as we go through this little exercise. With the heels hovering, bend into your knees, but keep the ribs lifting, so we don't want to just drop them. Keep the ribs lifting. Keep bending into your knees, and the hips go behind the ribs. Look how far back my hips are from my ribs, and pull the ribs up as you keep bending your knees, blooming your butt behind you. Slowly push the arms forward, keeping wide at the pelvic floor. Walk one hand to the ground, followed by the other. Twist your feet and your knees to center. Then coming back, pivot your heels in and your paws, the tops of your feet wide. Walk your hands back. Bend into your knees, bloom your butt. So no dropped butts here, not like I'm doing here. None of that. Bloom it, baby, that's it. And then you're gonna lift the arms, keep your hips wide, ribs full, and come to a standing position. Point the toes forward, spin your heels down to the ground, and here we are. Second set. Hover your heels, position the heels in and paws wide. Low globe the hands and just take a moment to fill your ribs with your beautiful breath, lifting your ribs towards the sky. Bend your knees and go slow. The knees, they're bending at a diagonal from the body. They're not going parallel, they're not going so wide, they're not going forward, they're going diagonal. And then resist the ribs up towards the sky as you sit the hips back. So they're going in different directions. Keep bending your knees, blooming your butt. And then there's this point where you can shift your weight more forward, bloom the hips back, slowly lower one hand, walk the other hand down, step the hands forward. Okay, coming back, walk the hands back. For more of a challenge, you're gonna stretch the arms forward, and like you're on a fulcrum, you're finding the balance between the hips rooting and then rising the ribs. And here we are. Lower the hands by the side. All right, so how did that feel? Of the three, which feels most empowering to you? Which do you want to practice? And again, this is like daily movement hygiene. I cannot emphasize the importance enough that's going to empower your whole life when you really develop this skill and practice it. But if we lose this skill, then so much of life becomes less available to live if we don't have this. So I really want to empower you to keep this skill going and for it to support your body and your well-being and your vitality. So if you got value from this video, please give it a like, please give me a subscribe, all of those wonderful things. Drop a comment below. What did you learn from this? What did you struggle with from this? And it's such an honor to serve you. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a beautiful day.